stop right there. Let me guess how you describe your morning in English. You probably say, I wake up at 7, I eat breakfast, I go to work.
Yeah, that is not English. I mean, that is a checklist.
Right. Welcome to Practice English Studio, the podcast where you learn and practice real English through real conversations. I am your host, Grace.
And I am your co-host, Theo.
Thank you so much for tuning in today.
Yes, thank you for joining us.
If you want to improve your English every single week, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Today, we have a very special mission for this episode. We aren't just teaching you new vocabulary today. I mean, anyone can give you a list of words to memorize, right?
Exactly. Anyone can do that.
No, we are doing something much bigger today. We are fixing how you think when you speak. By the end of this episode, your daily routine is going to completely transform.
It really is.
It's going to go from a robotic, boring list into a natural, fluid, and interesting story.
That is the goal. Because when you change how you think about your day, your English changes completely. You stop sounding like a textbook.
Yeah, nobody wants to talk to a textbook.
Right, and you start sounding like a real human being.
Yeah.
So let's look at the core issue first. Here is the problem we see all the time with English learners. They describe their routines step by step.
Oh, step by step. Like, first I do this, second I do that, third I go here.
Yes. And that makes them sound incredibly flat. It
Yeah.
sounds robotic. You are giving information, sure, but you aren't giving any personality.
But wait, let me push back on this just for a second. If a sentence like, I wake up at 7, if that is grammatically perfect, why is it a problem?
That is a very fair point.
Right, because if the grammar is right and the listener understands the facts, why do we actually need to fix it?
That's the perfect question to ask. It's a problem because, well, native speakers just don't list actions. If you want to sound natural, you cannot just read a mental list of events. Native speakers describe experiences. They describe their feelings. They describe the transitions between the moments in their day. When they speak, they sound like real people telling a story, not, a machine printing out a receipt.
That's exactly what it feels like. A checklist is just data, and data is boring.
Really is.
A story is interesting because it has emotion. Let's look at the contrast right now. Listeners, let's hear the correct but dead version. Listen to this. I wake up at 7.
It's grammatically correct, but there is absolutely no life in it. You learn nothing about the person speaking. Now listen to the natural version. My alarm goes off at 7, and I hit snooze like 3 times.
Okay. Honestly, I feel attacked right now because that is exactly what I did this morning.
We all do.
But notice the difference there. My alarm goes off at 7 and I hit snooze like 3 times. Same routine, completely different energy.
Exactly.
Listeners, wherever you are right now, try saying that out loud with us, but don't just read the words. Imagine you are really annoyed by the alarm. My alarm goes off at 7.
Good. Now add the guilt of sleeping in. And I hit snooze like 3 times.
It changes everything. Listeners, please understand this core lesson today. This is not about learning harder, more advanced words.
No, not at all.
You already know the words alarm and 3 and times. You don't need a bigger vocabulary to sound natural. This is entirely about better thinking.
Telling a story completely changes the energy of your conversation. It makes people want to listen to you. It invites them into your life,
Right, it's welcoming.
When you share a small struggle, like hitting the snooze button, the person listening suddenly relates to you. They think, oh, I do that too. You build an instant connection.
Exactly. We connect over our shared human experiences, not our schedules. Now that you understand why you need a story, let's look at exactly how to build one for your morning.
Let's do it.
We are going to completely upgrade your morning routine.
Yes. Let's give you some great new morning phrases. These are excellent alternatives to simply saying, I wake up. Here's the first one. Listen closely to the feeling here. I'm not really a morning person, so I stay in bed for a bit.
Oh, that flows so perfectly. I'm not really a morning person. This is such a natural way to say you don't like waking up early. It excuses your tiredness.
It does, yeah.
Try saying that out loud, listeners, and let your shoulders drop a little bit to show you're tired. I'm not really a morning person. And then the second part. So I stay in bed for a bit.
Here is another amazing phrase that paints a vivid picture. I scroll my phone until I feel human again.
Let's break that down because the visual is so strong. I scroll my phone. We all do it. You're lying in the dark, checking social media, reading the news, letting your brain slowly wake up.
And the best part is that ending. Until I feel human again.
Yes.
That phrase carries so much emotional weight. Before you wake up fully, you feel like a zombie. You have no energy. You can't really think or form a full sentence.
You're just staring at the screen.
Yeah, exactly. When you say, until I feel human again, you are tapping into a feeling everyone on earth understands. You aren't just saying, until I am awake. You are sharing a struggle.
You know, looking at these phrases, I notice a clear pattern. These sentences aren't just actions. They aren't just, I wake up or I look at my phone.
Yeah, there are much more.
They are showing the speaker's personality. They show humor. They show reality. So instead of our listeners just memorizing these specific phrases, is there a formula they can use to build these kinds of sentences themselves?
Yes, there is a magic formula. If you are taking notes right now, write this down. The rule for natural storytelling is action plus reaction plus detail equals natural English.
Let me repeat that because that is the secret code right there. Action plus reaction plus detail equals natural English. Let's test this out to see how it works in reality.
Let's break down the snooze example we used earlier using this magic formula. The first step is the action. The action is simply the objective fact. My alarm goes off.
Right, that's just the thing that happened in the world. My alarm goes off. So I assume the next step is how we respond to that fact.
Exactly. The next step is the reaction. How do you, as a human being, respond to the action? The reaction is, I hit snooze.
For anyone who doesn't know, your alarm makes a loud noise. You want to sleep for 5 more minutes, so you press that button to stop the noise. You hit snooze.
Perfect explanation.
So we have our action, my alarm goes off. We have our reaction, I hit snooze. What is the final piece of the puzzle?
The final step is the detail.
Yeah.
You add one small, specific piece of information to make it real. The detail here is like 3 times.
Let's put it all together slowly. My alarm goes off. I hit snooze like 3 times. Action, reaction, detail.
Listeners, feel the story in those words. Try to pause slightly between the thoughts, just like you are remembering the morning.
My alarm goes off. I hit snooze like 3 times. It
Yeah.
feels so much more authentic than just saying, I wake up late.
Now, once you are awake and out of bed, you have to move to the next part of your day. You have to move from the bedroom to the kitchen or to the bathroom.
And this brings us to where most English learners completely fail. They fail at transitions.
They really do.
Yes, the transitions. Moving from one idea to the next idea. This is what I call the then trap. Listeners, think about your own English. Have you ever said this? I wake up, then I eat, then I shower, then I go.
That is a very common trap, and you need to emphasize this in your mind. Nobody actually talks like that in real life. It sounds like a machine going through a checklist.
We have to fix this. We need to upgrade your transition so your story flows like water. Let's look at some natural transition alternatives that native speakers use all the time.
Good idea.
Here's a great one. Listen to the rhythm of this. Once I've had my coffee, I feel human again.
Let's look at another one. While I'm getting ready, I check my email.
And one more for when you finally get out of the house. After that, I head out.
Notice how these words physically feel in your mouth. Once I've had, well, after that, they flow together smoothly. You don't say every word sharply.
Listeners, I want you to practice this with us right now. Don't just read the words, try to copy the melody. Once I've had my coffee, I feel human again.
Notice how the first part is a little bit faster, and then you relax on the second part. Let's try it. Once I've had my coffee, I feel human again.
Very good. You aren't just saying the words, you are feeling the rhythm of the sentence. But let me challenge you on that specific point. Why is it so important to copy the rhythm?
What do you mean?
Well, I know a lot of learners think, hey, as long as my vocabulary is right and my grammar is correct, isn't that enough? People understand me. Why do we care about the melody?
That's a fair point, but the words are not enough. The rhythm is essential because the rhythm carries the feeling. When you speak English with a flat voice, with no rhythm and no pauses, the listener's brain gets tired.
Oh, that makes sense.
It sounds dead, but when you use the natural highs and lows of the sentence, it makes the speech flow. It's like music. Listen to the wave of the sound. Once I've had my coffee, I feel human again. There is a slight pause in the middle. There is a breath.
I totally agree. That pause in the middle does something magical. It gives the other person time to nod their head. It gives them time to smile. It gives them a split second to agree with you. It builds a connection. You are inviting them into the conversation.
Exactly. So now that we understand how to transition, let's apply this fluid storytelling to the rest of the day. You've survived the morning inertia. You feel human. Now let's talk about leaving the house, the workday peak, and that inevitable afternoon slump.
Let's start with actually going to work. Usually learners just default to, I go to work. Let's throw that sentence away forever.
Yes, toss it out.
Instead of, I go to work, use a natural phrase like this. I head out around 8.
Head out is a wonderful everyday phrasal verb. It simply means to leave your house or your current location. I head out around 8. Now, what happens next? Usually a problem. Let's try this one. I'm stuck in traffic most mornings.
Oh, the shared human frustration of traffic. Listeners, think about the physical feeling of that. Sitting in your car, cars in front of you, cars behind you, you can't move, you are trapped. You are stuck in traffic. Let's say it with that feeling of annoyance. I'm stuck in traffic most mornings.
And then you finally arrive at your job. Don't go back to the robot voice and say, I start work. Say this instead. I settle into my desk and check what's urgent.
Stop right there. I have to point something out. That phrase, what's urgent, that is the secret sauce. That is what makes this sound like a real messy life. It doesn't sound like a clean textbook.
Not at all.
When you say check what's urgent, you are talking about stress. You are talking about prioritizing tasks. You are acting like a real human being with a busy, demanding job.
It perfectly follows our magic formula. It adds that specific detail we talked about earlier. Action, reaction, detail. You sit down, you open your computer, and you don't just work. You actively look for the most important, pressing things. You check what's urgent.
Okay, so your morning at work is finished. Now it's the middle of the day. It's lunchtime. Please, everyone listening, promise me you will forget the sentence, I eat lunch at 12.
Yes, nobody actually says that in a casual conversation. Let's teach you the real alternatives for the middle of the day. Here's a fantastic one. Grab a quick bite.
Let's look at the mechanics of that phrase because it's brilliant. Usually the word grab means to physically take something with your hand very fast. But here, grab a quick bite means you eat something quickly because you are busy.
And notice how the words link together. Native speakers don't say, grab a quick bite. The B at the end of grab connects to the A. It sounds like grab a quick bite.
Try to link those sounds, listeners. I grab a quick bite.
That phonetic linking changes the entire physical feeling of the sentence. It makes it sound fast, which perfectly matches the meaning of eating quickly. Here is another option for lunch. I usually eat at my desk. This simple detail tells a whole story about how busy you are.
Or try this one, which puts it all together. I just grab something quick and get back to work. Let's look at the rhythm of that one. It's almost like a sigh. I just grab something quick and get back to work.
Notice how much better and more vivid that sounds. I eat lunch at 12 is correct. But I just grab something quick and get back to work is real life. It shows dedication or maybe a little bit of stress.
Okay, the long workday is finally over. It's time to go home. Once again, instead of saying, I go home, let's upgrade it to show the transition. Listen to this phrase. I wrap things up around 6.
Wrap things up is a perfect idiom. Think about wrapping a present to finish it. Here, it means to finish your work, to send those last emails, close your laptop, and complete your final tasks for the day. I wrap things up around 6.
And after all that work, you are tired. But don't just say, I am tired. That's too simple. Say, I'm usually exhausted by then. Notice we didn't say tired, we used exhausted.
A very strong word.
That word carries the physical weight of the whole day. It's that feeling when your bones are heavy, your brain is foggy, and you have nothing left to give. I'm usually exhausted by then. Let your voice drop a little at the end to really show that feeling.
And finally, the moment you walk through your front door, please don't say, I go home and sleep. Try this natural upgrade. I get home and just crash on the couch.
Crash on the couch. I absolutely love the imagery of the word crash. Think about a computer. When a computer gets overwhelmed and stops working, we say the computer crashed. It completely shut down.
Your body is the exact same way.
Exactly. After a long day of traffic, urgent tasks, and grabbing quick bites, you have zero energy. You fall onto the sofa and your internal computer just shuts down. You crash on the couch. Try saying that with a sense of total relief. I get home and just crash on the couch.
We have discussed so many amazing, vivid phrases today. We've talked about transitions, formulas, and emotional weight. We have all the puzzle pieces. Now, let's hear what it actually sounds like when we put an entire day together.
Yes. We are going to build the whole day using feelings, using specific details, and using those natural flowing transitions. Listeners, just sit back and listen to the rhythm of this paragraph. Notice how the sentences flow like water.
I will read the upgraded routine naturally, warmly, and in a storytelling tone. Listen carefully to how the ideas connect. On weekdays, my alarm goes off at 7, but I usually hit snooze a couple of times. I'm not really a morning person, so I stay in bed scrolling for a bit. Once I've had my coffee, I feel human again, and then I head out. I'm usually stuck in traffic, so by the time I get to work, I just settle in and focus on what's urgent. Around noon, I grab something quick, and by the evening, I wrap things up, go home, and just crash.
Listeners, I want you to notice something incredibly important about that story. Notice what was missing from it. It was not a perfect, highly productive, flawless day. It was not robotic.
No, it wasn't. It was full of real, messy life.
Exactly. It had problems. I've stuck in traffic. That is a massive annoyance. It had bad habits. I hit snooze. I stay in bed scrolling. It featured total exhaustion. I just crash. Having problems, bad habits, and being tired is exactly what makes the story human.
This is the biggest takeaway. When you speak English without any problems, without any struggles, or without any feelings, you build a wall between yourself and the listener. You sound like a robot. But when you are brave enough to share your exhaustion, your busy day, and your small frustrations, people instantly connect with you. They see themselves in your story.
Now it's time for your homework. We don't just want you to listen today, we want you to practice this. Listeners, now it's your turn. We want you to write out your new daily routine, but do not write a perfect textbook routine. Write a real one.
Yes. When you write your routine, try to use the magic formula we discussed and make sure you include 3 specific things. Number 1, include at least one feeling. Tell us you are exhausted or feeling human again. Number 2, include at least one problem. Maybe you are running late, the train is delayed, or you're stuck in traffic. And number 3, include at least one specific detail, like hitting snooze 3 times or checking what's urgent.
Please leave a comment with your new upgraded daily routine down below. We want to read them. And yes, we actually read the comments and we will give you feedback on your writing. Let's see your real stories. Remember our core mission for this episode. Stop listing your day like a checklist and start telling your human experience.
Before we go, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought to ponder. Think about your native language for a second. When you speak your first language with your closest friends or your family, you complain about being tired. You joke about hitting the snooze button. You tell dramatic stories about being stuck in terrible traffic. These little flaws and frustrations of your day are exactly how you connect, laugh, and bond with the people you love. So, why should your English personality be any less human than your real personality?
That is such a powerful thought. Don't hide your true, messy, wonderful self when you speak English. Show us your real personality through your words. If you want to keep learning English that sounds real, emotional, and not robotic, remember to subscribe to Practice English Studio. We are here to help you bridge that gap every step of the way. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode. See you next time, and keep it natural.